So I'm going to be turning the gas on here, LPG. Storage, this is where we have 2 gas bottles. This is the spare. And then this one at the back is the one we're connected to, and I've just turned it on now. So gas is flowing, or will be very shortly. We'll turn the fridge on very shortly because we'll switch over from the DC, which is the power from the actual power of the van, and then we're going to go with gas in a moment or two. So we'll do that.
Because we're not free camping.
Oh, we're not free camping, so yeah, we're not going to be changing. We'll be keeping the power on electricity, but actually on AC. So DC when we're travelling in the motorhome, AC when we're on a powered site like now, and then the gas when we're free camping. We're being free camping for a week. I'm so used to free camping, so we're hooking up that way. But we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be hooking up to water here and power here. And the power points and water points are here. So we're number 13, so power here and water there. So we're just going to show you how we set up. All right, so water over here. Lots of room underneath here for the storage.
There's a lot to be said for free camping, because all you do is rock up and turn on the gas.
That's about it.
When it's wet like this, you're not bothering with power cables or water pipes, water hoses. Hey ho.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the old safety. This is water and bleach mixed, 50-50 I think it is, or whatever the mix is, Catherine. I think it's a 50-50. Then we will connect these connectors very shortly, so we give them a bit of a razz with the old bleach.
That one works.
They both connect. Huh? Oh, this blue one. Yeah, I connect that when I'm...
Click that.
Okay. So, water. Even though it looks like I don't, I'll just give that impression. Actually, what we do need as well is... We're out of the river now. Yeah, several weeks ago, so hence I'm a little bit rusty. So bleach water on there, so all the connectors are protected. And what you don't want to do is get bleach water all over your jeans. So we just hook that up. That's all bleach water now connected safely. You might not be hearing Catherine, so we're going to run the water through the hose pipe before we actually connect, so we don't have a lot of air into the system. So our setup is usually around about 10 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer whilst we're vlogging this.
So this is called city water. We're connecting to the city water, city of Nannup. You haven't primed the hose?
No priming of hose as yet. Got a nice drain here. Look to prime the hose. Good pressure. Hose primed, so connected on, water on, and not connected up as well as we'd like to be. So That felt pretty tight. Give it another go. Maybe the pressure is really strong here. So turning on. It's usually around about, the pressure is really quite strong, so I've only gone about a quarter turn on this.
This was one of our little fixes, something and nothing, but that was flapping in the breeze when we brought the motor home, and the lid, if you want to call it that, wasn't connected, so we've now connected it with a screw and a nut.
Okay, so that's water done. Power wise is quite straightforward.
That's one of our new things into our kit, is the power tidy cord winder.
It's not very handy when you've got the other side right at the bottom. So I want to plug in there, so I've got to wind the whole thing out.
That's a bit of a rookie error that it's wound from the other wrong way, but hey ho.
Okay, so we'll unwind all this.
So much keeping it clean and tidy.
Yeah, 15 metres or the bigger. Waste of time, that. Let's
Wind
just
it back up now. No, don't do that.
out the way for now. Okay, so power connected there. And Catherine wants me to wind all this back around, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
So it's kept wound up.
Just like we've kept that wound up on the
Well,
water.
that was just because of what was where. You know which end you need to be getting to now.
I haven't used this thing before, so I assume you just wind stuff up. Female plug clip here, male fitment there. Male fitment was down on the female, and this was just somewhere near the end, so even you didn't do what it was supposedly suggesting on here. Okay, so why don't I just plug it in and then wind the excess in between?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when it's normally a 10-minute setup, it normally is, but when you get thrown these curveballs, like these strange things, it makes it longer. Okay, so let's just wind that up. The thing is, once we get to a certain level winding up, how is it going to connect and stay connected? You know what I mean?
Well, what didn't you put through here?
This is...
Remember what we said about the good, the bad and the ugly?
This is certainly ugly. And that works a treat, doesn't it? Okay, so power in. Okay, definitely incorrect. Alright then. Come back next week when I would have wound this cord all the way in.
We're going to have a soft, intermittent, what's the word?
Interval. Get your ice creams out. The thing is, this is going to start pulling the weight. It needs to be even lower down, so it actually is on the deck. Like I say, first time I've used this thing, this is going to be pulling on it with the weight. And as you can see, it stayed nice and clean and looks awesome. How much for this piece of plastic?
You said we should get one of them.
Just to tidy it. I meant tidy it into store. not for faffing around like this.
Keep it tidy.
Yeah, and
unwinding the whole lot.
And then when the wind blows, pointless.
The wind's not good.
Huh? Fantastic.
Okay, have you turned it on?
Right, power's on, power's on. Right, we're all plugged in.
That's usually lit up when the power's on. I don't think.
Right, that's on. Yeah. I don't like the way this is pulling on it, so...
Well, just a minute, let me take control. Is that turned on?
Of course it is, I've just turned it on. Let's see the master at work here.
Is that off and on?
Well, it says off and on.
Oh, I can't see without my glasses.
So there you go, master at work, hasn't got her glasses on. So we're 11 minutes in already, and normally we're hooked up and done by now, which theoretically we are. We're level, we've put water on, and we've put the electricity on, give or take, messing around with this plastic.
Take your little GoPro and stick it elsewhere. Ta-da.
Job done, well done. So we're set up, yes?
Yes.
Good. So the next and final thing is actually getting the wastewater, the grey water pipe set for running into the drain, which is going to be just underneath here. We have set up, so we have a short stop one and a longer pipe. So this is the short pipe here. We unplug that, get this bigger one on. Okay, that's connected. That can stay there. And then this is our excess now, which will run to the drain, which is just behind me where the power and water is. Get rid of some debris. I'm actually going to just drop it down the way as well. So there's a lower sense of gravity. Just up the water pressure a little bit. It was a little bit low as we've just tested. Just run this pipe out a little bit flatter. Trying to get it as flat as possible to enable the wastewater to flow through without any uphill, but they always seem to have a lip to these where it's going to lip up and over, so you sometimes, quite often, you get a flow of water, like a back fill of water up to this point, and then you sometimes get a bit of the water not actually just dispersing. You just get a, what do we call it?
Draining.
Yeah, the water just doesn't drain away. Yeah, so you sometimes have a little bit of a flow where it goes so far and then it stays there because it's got a backlog of water because of this drainage. So they haven't quite seemed to have sussed out that you don't need lips to these things, you just need a point dropping straight in. So yeah, that's the only thing where sometimes you don't get good drainage. We tend to just leave this closed off like so. We don't lock it up because otherwise we're having to put all that pipe through this connector here. We've realised that's a right faff of a job, so we just leave that as is. That connects to that. We'll leave the door open. There's nothing to steal here really, it's all just pipe work. That's nicely and conveniently just put to one side. The wastewater flows down here and through into the drain, so that's us hooked up. Champion. That looks like an interesting read you've got there.
So this Nanny Doss, she apparently killed 4 husbands. The first husband she killed in 1950. He was unwell after a meal of stewed prunes and coffee. He apparently had terrible stomach pains for 2 days and then died. Nanny told the neighbours that his last words were, "Nanny, it must have been the coffee." Of course, he may have been wrong. It may have been the arsenic in the coffee, but then again, it could have been the prunes that had been stewed in rat poison. That's an idea.
I think you need to put that book down.